Did you actually go through a punk phase, or do you?
I did go through a punk phase. It was dreadful because I was late.
Oh no, I don't think there could be such a thing as late. I know we're kind of contradicting maybe what we talked about before. But
the punk phase for me began when I met the rest of the boys in the Levelers, and they were playing like punk tracks, loads of tracks, 999, Slaughter on the Dogs, all this stuff, everything, right back, and it's just in the van on the M1, cassette tape, listening to fantastic music that I'd never really heard. So they educated me in the punk thing.
Did you actually, when you listened to it, did you get the connection with it being folk music?
Totally. It told stories.
Yeah.
It evoked.
And there were different stories. They're not stories about trees.
No, they weren't stories about milkmaids. No.
There might have been, but it's a different story. Milkmaids. Yeah. So there was like, because they're modern urban tales.
Modern urban tales, brilliantly told. That got me. But I was also listening to Iggy Pop and stuff when I was a kid, so it kind of all linked in. If you know what I mean.
But to me, that is the power of the bands, because you unite those two. Like the Pogues did with Irish folk, you did with English folk.
I will never forget seeing the Pogues in 1986 in the Brighton Centre. Changed my life. It's like, you could be shouty and punky, but folky.
Yeah, it's kind of updated for a lot of people like me. I never grew up with folk music, and it did seem like something that's very much like a museum culture.
Yeah.
And
hopefully that's over.
No, totally, because I've learned about it, like you learned about punk, I've learned about folk the wrong way around.
I watched a fantastic folk band last night in the Bimble Inn. I don't know their name, I didn't get it because I was a bit out of it, but they were absolutely amazing. They've done something different with it. Again, it's moving on, it should be. It's the people's music, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about coming to this festival, because I've seen lots of variations of very English folk music, which I never even knew existed.
Yeah.
It's like an education.
You've got to get out more.
I wish I could stay in more.
Me too.
So, is that like a deliberate thing here? You actually book as many different styles of folk music as possible? Like a crash course of folk for people like me?
No, it's not deliberate.
Why not?
I'm not trying to educate people in folk music because I don't know
nothing
about it.
But show people there's actually, it's not a dead form, it's still a live form. It's
definitely not a dead form, it's a very live form. Just pass an acoustic guitar around this audience and you'll find out. Simple as that.
Do you think it's a shame that it's kind of pushed to the side as well? Why is it in England we don't celebrate English folk music? Like we'll celebrate folk music for world music. But you're
trying to define something that's undefinable there. So, honestly, it is massive, and it is people's. So you can't really lock it in a cupboard. You know what I mean? And you can't pass it on. It is what it is.
And is that why you think it's mainly pushed to the side? But not by
I think it's ignored by people that make adverts and rubbish like that, but they'll use it to sell anything. You know what I mean? Just, what is it? It's just somebody telling a story that's worth listening to. That's it.
Yeah. That's the basic idea of what it is, the kernel of folk.
Of course it is.
So would you say the Levelers, I mean, it's hard, are you a rock band or a folk band? Or it doesn't really matter, does it? But
it's a shit band, really.
Do you think they're a shit band?
No.
It's shit.
We shall see tomorrow.
Wait till tomorrow night. No, we're a band. Actually, do you know what we are? We're just a band, like the Clash, like the Pogues, like any good band, like Motorhead, like AC/DC. A band that means it.
Yeah, which is again, it's weirdly unfashionable, isn't it?
Good. I never want to be fashionable. Apart from the shirt, obviously.
What's this curse in England where things had to be in fashion and place?
It's the British disease. It's the British disease, and it's actually a curse. But it's also a blessing because it makes people try harder.
Are you like me? Do you think fashion is the worst thing that ever got mixed up with English music, British music?
Yes, I do. I think it confuses the issue. Fashion confuses music massively. It's not about fashion, it's about attitude.
Yeah. And it's probably why the Levelers have retained, after 20 years now? It's about 20 years, longer now.
It's only 5 years, isn't it? Surely.
It looks
what are you
longer.
saying?
but you've retained the community. It's a community, really, isn't it?
Look, hello community. Can we ask community some questions, Rob?
Yeah, of course they can. They can ask 2 questions. So who's got a question? Go on. It's the man with the kilt.
There's a man with a kilt.
He's a man full of questions.
It better be good. I'm scared now.
I like to ask.
Do you like haggis? No.
What I've got here is a reputation of gummy bears laced in vodka. That's all it is, just gummy bears and vodka. Have one. That's
No.
You know? Well, it's all about...
That could be the most amount of acid I've ever taken in my life.
That's all it is. Yeah. Right,
well done.
The question we've got, right, your folk music brings people together, right? And it comes distinctly from England and not Celtic
Scotland
side.
as well.
Yeah, and the Celtic side. Do you get a lot of passion from listening to like pipes, bordering?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, they're great. They evoke beautifully. Yeah, pipes, yeah, all of it.
Do you get that passion from the Celtic side?
Yeah.
Or do you get it from, elsewhere?
I get it from all sides. I get it wherever I can.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers.
Thank you. Take your acid.
If you want to know what he has in his little box, it was like these jelly things of vodka in them. And he's going to hand them around the crowd to everybody now. Yeah. Don't do it, boys and girls! But I suppose that was an interesting point you made there, because he's kind of talk about folk music like it's a Celtic thing, forgetting it's actually...
There's
an English folk.
For a lot of years, people said, where in Ireland are you from, boys? It's like, well, we're not. We're from Brighton, Ireland.
Which goes back to my point before. Why have we forgotten our own folk culture?
Because it's been boiled down to Morris dancing. Basically rubbish.
Hang on. It's Moroccan, it's not even English.
It's not, it isn't, no. It's a very strange, and it's too yada-da-dee, really. It hasn't got a lot of passion. But I tell you what, it's still out there. You can find English folk music, it is just ignored, like you said.
Yeah, but like you were saying, the man handing out the sweeties, it's, Scottish and Irish are very proud of their folk tradition.
Yes, they are, and they work hard at it. Yeah. And that's a great thing.
So in some ways what you're doing here is celebrating that tradition. Would you say so? Is that too poncy as well?
That's far too poncy. Yeah. John, no, I'm not having that.
So what the fuck, what the flip are you doing here?
What the fuck am I doing here? I'm putting a festival on. For the greater good of mankind.
I think that sounds a little too poncy. So you actually you put a festival on, you're doing the Levellers, and you've got a solo album.
Somebody had to do it.
Somebody over there told me to ask you about it.
Well, that'll be my PR man over there, Michael.
Oh, he's looking embarrassed.
Yeah, he's got flowers in his hair. It's okay, he's a hippie. He's not a real PR man.
So tell me about your solo album.
Well,
why have you made a solo album? What's wrong with the rest of the band? They're ruining all their songs.
Lazy. No, literally at the time, we weren't doing very much at the beginning of the year, and Sean Lakeman, who produced the last Levellers record, said, you've got some great songs here. They're not Levellers songs, but you should do something with them.
So what way were they not Levellers songs?
Because they're very personal to me.
So they're not so much storytelling, they're more personal songs?
They're not so much macro as micro, which is interesting.
Can you explain that? Do you understand what he meant?
Yeah.
You have to explain it.
It's personal. Yeah. It's all about how weird my life has been in the last 20 years.
In what way is your life being weird?
Well, I'm doing this for a start. It's getting weirder.
This is normal.
And I'm tripping.
Do you get to trip at your own festival?
Oh, what's the point?
I don't know people actually did acid anymore, or mushroom.
Of course they do. You really do need to get out.
You never hear anybody talking about it at all now, do you?
We don't talk about it because we're all busy doing it.
Everyone just talks about boring drugs like
meow. Rubbish.
Anybody here on meow?
It's rubbish.
Probably too old actually, it's an older crowd.
Yeah, and anybody offers you any bliss, walk away.
That's good advice because it's not legal to take drugs at a festival, is it?
Absolutely, it's totally illegal, Mr. Officer.
You could get arrested at busted at your own festival.
Bugger.
So musically, what's the record like? Is it different as well?
It's me. It's not the Levellers. It's very much based on late 60s, early 70s folk from both sides of the Atlantic. It's that sort of vibe.
And have you put a band together to do this?
Yeah, I've got some very talented people on it. I've got Seth, who's on a bit, he's on it. And Sean, and Sean's Mrs. Catherine Roberts, who's probably the best female vocalist in the country. And Ben Nichols, a fantastic stand-up bass player. And many others.
Oh, it's a cast of thousands.
It's not a cast of thousands, no. It sounds very close and personal.
Yeah. And when's that out? Is that out?
It's on the 6th of September.
And you touring that as well? I mean,
I will be touring that in October, yeah.
Right, that's the PR bit. I'm sure. I'm sure everybody will want to go to that, won't they?
Yeah, you will.
But you're also touring the Levelers in the autumn as well, aren't you? So that's
Of course,
the autumn, isn't
yeah,
it?
we're going around everywhere else in the country where people don't go, which is the way it should be done.
Small towns.
Small
The
towns,
real
big
England.
towns where people actually can't afford and can't be bothered to leave to go 20 miles up the road, so we'll go there for them. We'll go that extra mile.
The towns where most bands play, nobody goes to see them, but you can still sell the venues out.
I fucking hope so.